So even though I had never met Frank Goodman personally, I have made somewhat of a study of him.
Consisting of what?
I've read his writings, police reports, stakeout diaries, that sort of thing. I've studied departmental accounts and various newspaper articles concerning Frank Goodman's heroic exploits while he was with the Coral Gables Police Department. There were even a few videotapes of interviews that Frank Goodman did when he was up for a promotion within the department. I've studied these extensively.
Are you able to offer an expert opinion of the deceased based on your observations?
Yes.
Would you please tell the court what they were?
Frank Goodman exhibited traits of someone who himself had been molested.
For example?
The self-deprecating manner he adopted indicates a clear lack of self-esteem. He took inordinate risks on the job, which indicates a possible secret death wish. On some level, sexual abusers hate themselves for what they do. They feel unworthy and can sometimes court their own demise.
Even if Frank Goodman had been abused, how do you see this as relevant to this case?
That's very simple. The statistics are horrifyingly consistent. 85% of molesters have been molested themselves.
Dr. Gates, I have one more question, and this is going back to your observations of my client. You said that she suffered from something you term hysterical amnesia. Is that correct?
Yes, and eventually she'll remember everything.
Eventually?
She hasn't yet. I'm sure of that.
So her protestations of not being able to remember what happened the night Frank Goodman was killed were not fabricated, correct?
Correct. I've had her under hypnosis several times, and I'm certain that she has not fully pieced that night together.
Dr. Gates, would you please describe hysterical amnesia to the court?
Breaking it down in layman's terms, B.J. Walker suffered a severe trauma. It was so devastating that her subconscious mind took over to protect her and blocked her memory.
And then this would support the theory that B.J. was in extreme emotional distress the night that Frank was killed,
Most
correct?
definitely.
Thank you. No further questions.
Your witness. This question of hysterical amnesia intrigues me, Dr. Gates. Do you have any idea the moment this condition manifested itself?
I'm not sure I know what you mean.
You testified that B.J. suffered this so-called amnesia as the result of some traumatic experience, yes?
Not so-called, and yes.
I assume you're referring to the abuse allegedly heaped on this poor girl by Officer Goodman.
I object to the use of the phrase, this poor girl, in the attempt to characterize my client in a facetious manner.
Sustained. Forgive me. Dr. Gates, is it your testimony that B.J. Walker was sexually abused and that the experience left her so traumatized that she was not herself at the time of the shooting?
Yes.
I'd like to run another theory past you and see if that might also apply.
All right.
Is it possible that the traumatic act of shooting Frank Goodman might have brought on this condition?
The act?
Well, could she have been perfectly sane, perfectly normal, right up to the moment when Officer Goodman's life was so cruelly taken?
I suppose it's possible.
Yes or no, Dr. Gates?
Yes.
Can you tell this court with any real degree of certainty how sane B.J. Walker was when Frank Goodman was killed? Your answer, Dr. Gates?
No, I cannot.